I actually kind of want to make an announcement, man. I'm 33 years old. I'm happy with my career. Nobody has my resume. I just defended my flyweight title. I just defended my bantamweight title. I've done enough in the sport. I want to walk away. I want to enjoy myself. Thank you so much, man. I'm Triple C's out. You guys don't have to hear my ass no more.
Henry Cejudo showed a fighting spirit from an early age, viciously attacking those who entered his neighborhood, from salesmen to an occasional Jehovah's Witness. This future champ was born as Enrique Iglesias Carlos Mencia El Guapo del Toro de la Hoya Chavez Banderas Emilio Estevez Pablo Escobar Cejudo Jr. the third.
Racist.
Shut up!
Raised in America by a single mother who had to work multiple jobs to support her kids, Enrique was an ambitious little boy with a giant head.
His head seemed massive.
As a child, doctors feared that his head could be gargantuan.
You know, I've always liked that word, gargantuan.
Henry grew up having to share a bed with his siblings. For their sake, I hope they didn't also have to share a pillow. Fortunately, his determination never wavered as he went on to become the youngest American gold medalist in wrestling at the 2008 Summer Olympics. Of course you already knew this. It is virtually impossible to be unaware that Henry Cejudo won a gold medal. Whether you're meeting him for the first time or listening to him conduct an interview, that gold medal is getting mentioned.
I became the youngest in history to ever win a gold medal.
I went out and won the gold medal.
Olympic gold medal. My gold medal. I am proud to have a gold medal. Did I mention I have a gold medal?
Cejudo introduces his gold medal the same way an ordinary person introduces their spouse. Despite winning a gold medal, most Olympic athletes don't make much money unless they sign a lucrative endorsement deal. Henry's time as a top athlete was just beginning. Following the Olympics, Cejudo matriculated to Grand Canyon University in 2010 and graduated in 2015. According to rumors, Henry's graduation cap was created from a pizza box due to his enormous noggin.
That happened.
During this period, he also began training in mixed martial arts. Henry went 6-0 before joining the UFC, where he won 4 more bouts, earning a shot at the UFC flyweight title against one of the best fighters in history, Demetrius Johnson.
Does he have an Olympic gold medal?
Nope, and he didn't need one because it took less than a round for DJ to leave Henry in the Anthony Smith fetal position. After his rude awakening, Cejudo would coach against Joseph O'Leary on another season of Tough that nobody cared about. The two would face each other at the finale, with Henry losing by controversial split decision due to a point deduction taken from Cejudo. Despite the setback, Henry demonstrated that his striking game had evolved. Cejudo would go on to win his next 2 fights, earning another shot at the belt. However, this time would be different, as Henry ended Demetrius Johnson's reign as champion, while also becoming the first Olympic gold medalist to capture a UFC title. The fight ended in split decision, but regardless of how you felt about it, you could see how far Henry's game had improved since their first fight. His ability to close the skill gap with DJ in such a short time period was extraordinary. Cejudo had fulfilled one of his goals, but also witnessed the shift in the sports climate. He understood that attaining the financial mountaintop would require changes. The cringe. Following Henry's victory over DJ, a variety of opportunities arose. The historic Demetrius Johnson-Ben Askren trade, which, contrary to what many fans believe, benefited the UFC financially because of Jorge Masvidal's flying knee victory against Askren and the events that followed. Another opportunity came by Cejudo accepting something that DJ had repeatedly priced himself out of: a super fight. Henry's first title defense would be against bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw. Super fights typically occur with the smaller champ moving up, but in this case, the larger one was moving down.
I don't think there's ever been a sentence he said without talking about his gold medal. I mean, I know he's got a big head, but he also has a big head.
Then there was speculation that if Henry lost, the UFC would completely annihilate the flyweight division due to its inability to sell to the masses.
Does a TJ Dillashaw win mean the flyweight division goes away, or what is the future of the flyweight division?
I don't know. We'll see what happens on Saturday.
Saturday night, the flyweight division is going to be resurrected. Let it be known.
Does it mean anything to you to maybe end the flyweight division?
I could care less, man. You know, if the UFC wants me to be an assassin, if they want to hire me to go down there and end it, I'll end it.
He's made comments in the media like saying like he doesn't really care about the future of the flyweight division. How do you feel about that?
It really makes you question, is this guy my friend? Like, why would he say something like that? It is definitely weird coming from someone that you thought was your friend talking about can't wait to like have you lose your job.
Fortunately, his lack of allegiance allows him to sleep like a baby, since making 125 will be the hardest obstacle for TJ's preparation for the fight. I wonder if he has anything up his sleeve.
I'm stronger than I was in my last camp. That's no joke. I put up new PRs in my snatch, put new PRs in my clean and press. So I'm powerful, I'm explosive. You know, I'm setting new lactate threshold levels on the bike.
He's wearing a snakeskin jacket.
The last guy tried to wear a snakeskin suit, got his ass split. So it's his turn next.
TJ said that he has been called upon to come down to 125 and shut down the flyweight division.
You know
Today, Junior?
Do you know how to kill a snake, Ariel?
I don't.
You grab it by its tail and you whip it on his head, and that's exactly what's going to happen January 9th. It's the year to skin the snake once and for all, baby.
I can't help but notice your right eye, TJ. What happened there?
Oh, it's a gorilla. He escaped from the zoo and punched me right in the eye.
You wait till you fight me, you can have 2 black eyes.
I don't think you've ever given anybody a black eye. I'm going to get in there on the 19th. I'm going to destroy this dork. He's walking around himself, talking about himself in the third person, carrying his belt everywhere. Ever seen a picture of him? He's got his belt with him.
You like it?
You like it?
Take a look, TJ. Take a look.
You better start shining up that resume instead of that belt. He's going to be looking for a new job when I'm done with you. You better go
Boy, TJ can prepare. Look at him. Look at him.
I love it.
Wow.
You're the boringest fighter on the roster. UFC doesn't even want you. I'm a true MMA fighter. I'll beat him everywhere. This guy does one thing at a time. I'm not worried about him. He's got nothing to threaten me with.
Ariel, that's his best comeback? That is super sad, man. Do not blink. It's going to be quick.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
Henry destroyed Dillashaw in just 32 seconds, but the stoppage was a bit early. TJ handled the loss as well as you might expect.
I am happy to accept defeat, but I did not lose. Shit needs to happen again at flyweight. How could you be happy with that victory? That wasn't a victory. His aggressiveness would have been great for me if I would actually got the fight. I am leaps and bounds better than Henry Cejudo. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to prove it. I did not lose.
In hindsight, his reaction was even more hilarious because TJ knew he cheated against Henry but yet managed to play the victim as if he had been screwed over. For those unaware, TJ tested positive for EPO leading into his bout with Cejudo. This actually made Henry's win over TJ even more badass.
I'm about to cry.
In the wake of his annihilation of TJ Dillashaw,
I feel like I won that fight.
No, you moron.
Henry soaked up the lifestyle of a celebrity. Teams invited him to throw out the first pitch, height restrictions no longer prevented him from getting on carnival rides, and his hometown finally allowed Cejudo to use his head as a balloon in their parade. Henry also treated himself to traveling first class, which is where he met Nikki Bella.
Hey, snap out of it.
You and the Bella twins cozying up on the plane? What happened there?
Nothing. I hope something went on. Nikki Bella has been like my biggest crush. Truly. Yeah,
really?
I can tell you that she's been like my biggest crush. So she was sitting next to me. I was like, I was like, how am I gonna approach this? How am I gonna approach this? And then I thought, I was like, hold on, like my little niece, she's 9 years old and she loves the Bella twins. I used my niece to talk to her.
Well done. Well, I saw that. Well done. And then they're writing on your Instagram. Did you see them give you a shout out?
Yeah, they did. They're following me now. And,
we got to make this happen, Henry. I'm going to let the world know that you are ready, willing, and available.
Single, trilingual, and ready to mingle.
What up, Henry? So I just saw your interview on Ariel's podcast, and wow, thank you very much. I want to say, first of all, congrats on your really big win. I would like to think that, maybe possibly I was a good luck charm meeting you on the flight. And I'm hoping maybe one day in Arizona, you can train me before I get back into that ring. I think you have a few moves that you could show me that, really could take it to the women. And hey, I know you're cutting weight and all, but maybe one day we could grab a drink, or I don't know, I should actually send you a bottle of Bella Radici wine for your victory. So I'll do that. All right. Again, congrats on your big victory. That was amazing.
What up, Nikki Bella? I'm getting ready for you. If you like moves, I heard you want to learn some moves. I got moves that'll knock you off your feet. So hope you're ready for that.
Henry's issue with women is once he starts yapping, those panties come up awfully fast.
Nikki Bella, I ask you to allow Henry Cejudo to grab you and pile drive that hard.
You blew it!
Henry hoped that Nikki would finish him off quicker than he did TJ. Despite her initial interest, she rejected Henry like general audiences reject pseudo-intellectual late-night talk show hosts.
I had no game.
Plus, being 5'4" didn't help.
Nikki Bella, what's the deal with you and her?
Nikki Bella don't want this smoke.
So it's dead.
Yeah. She ain't married yet, so there's still a shot.
Dream on, dweeb.
Henry's already stuck in the friend zone.
Myself some gold today. Special guest. What?
One and only.
Yeah, it is. One and only. Oh,
What
and
about
then
me?
there's her too. So Bree and I are here to say a few words to Henry's IG fan. Cringe is the new cool, if you didn't know.
You already know. Cringe is the new cool.
Hashtag that.
The UFC's initial plan was to do Cejudo versus Dillashaw 2, this time for the bantamweight title. However, TJ relinquished his belt as soon as he popped. Therefore, Henry Cejudo and Marlon Moraes was scheduled for the vacant bantamweight championship. During this time, Moraes was smashing his opponents in the first round. Fans were eager to see how Cejudo would fare against the larger and more powerful contender.
How's Henry Cejudo gonna beat me? How's he gonna do? He's gonna take me down. I'm gonna get up. Is he gonna submit me? He can't strike, man. He said, "Oh, I'm a dangerous guy." Okay, 10 last fights, 2 finishes. Okay, I'm scared. I can't wait to beat his ass.
I've often wondered if this is how Marlon really sounds, or if he just liked to deceive people by having a Perjuria kid do his voiceover.
That WWE girl put him on his spot, and I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
I am not going to allow this company to have somebody that looks like Mr. Clean and talks like Michael Jackson.
The fight began with Marlon chopping Henry's legs from kicking range, forcing him to constantly switch stances. Yet Cejudo persevered, making mid-fight adjustments, deciding to fight fire with fire. Henry began pressuring Moraes, trading blows with him inside the pocket, along with knees from the clinch, causing Marlon to melt, forcing the ref to stop the fight towards the end of the third round. Henry Cejudo had once again made history by becoming the first Olympic gold medalist to capture 2 UFC titles, giving birth to the nickname Triple C. Cejudo was slated to defend his bantamweight title against Jose Aldo. However, the UFC had to move the event from Brazil to the United States because of the pandemic. Consequently, Aldo withdrew from the bout over visa issues. Dominic Cruz would return from a 3.5-year layoff to face Cejudo for the title at UFC 249.
Henry Cejudo doesn't know who he is. Straight out of high school, they locked him away in a room and they threw him on the wrestling mats to win a gold medal. That's all he knows. So that's why you'll only hear from him is what he's earned. The cringe is to hide who he doesn't know how to be, which is himself. You can make everything a joke and everything's not real and everything's, oh, I'm the best, oh, bend the knee so you can look me in the eyes. That whole persona, that whole WWE thing is much easier for him than being an authentic human being. He has no people skills. He's a very confused kid.
Does he have an Olympic gold medal?
From Cejudo! Cruz in a world of trouble here! Gotta fight back, that is it!
I'm retiring tonight, Joe. I'm 33 years old. I'm happy with my career. I've done enough in the sport. I want to walk away. Triple C's out. You guys don't have to hear my ass no more.
Cejudo defeated another legendary bantamweight champion, and as with the previous one, there was some controversy, primarily from Cruz himself. That's because of Mr. NNKP, no-nonsense Keith Peterson, who Dom claims squandered his opportunity to end things on his terms.
My experience of him was smelling like cigarettes and alcohol.
Stop whining.
I lost a huge opportunity there. That was part of the fight, is to get hurt and to keep coming back. So when you stop it with a second left and I'm on my feet, after I told him, don't stop this under any circumstance, don't mess this up. I need you to let this fight go. I'm going to be all right. And then he stops it with 1 second left and does the complete opposite what I say.
Still whining.
After several years, this R2-D2 shaped man still lives rent-free in Dom's head. Henry's so-called retirement was an obvious tactic to renegotiate for more money.
I need to meet with Dana White because I need heavyweight money. I feel like I'm the face of the UFC now. I want to change this game.
Is there anything that would make you reconsider? I mean, if Dana comes to you and says, wait a minute, let's fatten up this check a little bit. You know, all the cringe is working. People are buying into the king of cringe. We need you around.
He knows the number.
There's a lot of people saying that this is a renegotiation ploy. Is it something to do with renegotiations, or is this really the end and you really do just want to walk away?
Money talks.
Did Henry overplay his hand, or would the UFC meet his demands? Dana wasted no time in scheduling Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo for the vacant bantamweight championship at UFC 251, almost 2 months after Cejudo defeated Cruz. The sport had moved on after Henry's retirement, but he continued to make headlines during his absence. Whether it was challenging Valentina Shevchenko for the first intergender championship, coaching other fighters, or hating on strikers who can sell pay-per-views like he couldn't. Cejudo's main goal was to become the first three-division UFC champion. During his 3-year hiatus, he'd campaigned for a title shot against featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
The only thing that makes sense for me is to go up to another weight class and beat a dude that become the first triple champ in UFC history, and that would be known as C4. But you also have to compensate me because I'm the person that's going to sell the fight. I'm the person that's going to make it entertaining.
Unfortunately for Triple C, his request fell on deaf ears.
It's plain and simple. They don't want to pay. Dana doesn't want to pay. They pay me, they got to pay the rest. I'm not here to say to start a union. What I'm here to say is like everybody should be compensated individually. The guys that are going to sell the fight, the guys that are proven like me, Dana would love to see the fight, but he wants to pay me peanuts in comparison to what I really deserve.
The word deserve is relative. What Henry believes he deserves, Dana certainly does not, and he's the one who sees the numbers Cejudo brings.
If Conor McGregor's making money and getting paid, and George Masvidal, they're doing what they're doing, they're getting paid more than me, and I got 2 belts, and I'm doing the exact same shit, and I'm not getting compensated, man, you know what? F you too.
I mean, I know he's got a big head, but he also has a big head.
Cejudo's popularity within the MMA bubble had grown significantly during his time, but not to the point where he was a pay-per-view draw like Conor and Jorge were. For all of his accomplishments, he just couldn't get it through his giant melon that revenue is the key to renegotiating. It's not about winning titles. It's about how many tickets and pay-per-views you can sell.
If you can't reach skyrocket pay-per-view numbers, it's hard to negotiate with Dana and the UFC because that's what they negotiate with. Did you create a spike in the viewership? No, you didn't. Why would we pay you more? You're not doing anything for us. We're doing something for you. And I think a lot of these fighters don't understand that you can be the best fighter on earth, but you still got to create a spike.
Triple C had zero leverage. Furthermore, his decision to leave during his prime while holding the title was a huge mistake. What little influence he had faded even more over the years.
You got to play politics in order for you to kind of get in on that.
Wrong. It's about revenue and nothing else. This is him coping because he won't admit that he isn't a pay-per-view star. Henry even pulled the race card like a little snowflake as if the sport doesn't have any non-white stars. I like his failed attempt at reverse psychology, suggesting Dana was scared he'd win as if that would change his mind.
You chicken!
Sure, Dana could get annoyed if Henry were to win another title just to retire as he did in the past, but because he isn't a draw and no longer held a belt, the fight wasn't worth making. In reality, Henry was reflecting his insecurities because he was the one who's scared that his name had already been forgotten.
Henry Cejudo, Alex Volkanovski. Maybe
Henry
that's the
Cejudo.
He's not booked.
I don't even think Dana White answers his calls. I don't think they're taking him serious.
Henry didn't spend all of his time planning this comeback. He looked for love in all the wrong places.
Run, bitch, run for your life, get some help!
While the ladies of the night didn't work out, Cejudo did find someone to settle down with.
I finally got a girl now.
It was love at first sight the moment she knocked on his door and said housekeeping. I'm joking. He actually met his wife by stalking her Instagram.
You tried, send me messages for what, 5 years, 4 years, right?
Yeah. I had mesmerized me being with you before being with you. You know, I remember going on your Instagram and just being on there like day in and day out.
After finally losing his virginity, Triple C realized that he needed to shit or get off the pot because Father Time was ticking away.
Big Head's really broke. That's awesome.
Henry didn't get Volkanovski or the money he desired, but Dana gave him a slight raise to headline UFC 288 for the opportunity to reclaim his title against Aljamain Sterling. From Dana's point of view, Cejudo was the lesser of two evils since Aljo being champ was bad for business. The outcome of this fight would be a make-or-break moment for Triple C, as a win could solidify his shot against Volk, while a loss would eliminate that option.
I know Aljamain Sterling, guys. I am so much more tactical. I am so much better than these dudes. I am at a whole nother level.
There's no more talking. We're going to actually show up and do the damn thing, and I can't wait to this up.
You're going to bring the violence? Dude, I knock people out. The only people that you put to sleep was the damn
how
crowd.
do you win?
I win in everything that I do, Aljamain. I left with 2 belts and an Olympic gold medal.
Why is Henry Cejudo back now?
My original goal was to go up to 145 pounds and do something that nobody has ever done. Aljamain's a warm-up. What I really want is that 45 strap. And of course, I want a pocket full of money. He won the bout via Academy Award. Okay. He won the second fight via judge's guilt. And then he couldn't beat a guy that I beat in 32 seconds on EPO. And it took him freaking almost 2 rounds to get rid of with one arm. I got rid of Marlon Moraes, who knocked him the hell out, who took him to the Neptunes. Trained really, really hard and polished my fucking belt.
When I win, I'm going to retire his ass again. And I'm going to send his ass to the sport he should have been in, which it should have been a horse jockey with that big-ass head.
I'm going to stop this dude under 3, and then Volkanovski's next, and you can't deny me no more. I'm not taking Aljamain Sterling lightly. How can I take somebody lightly who likes to carry around an Academy Award every single damn day?
Cejudo lost via split decision in a competitive but lackluster fight.
I think I want my money back.
Most fans seem to agree with the result, but it makes you wonder what would have happened if Henry fought Sterling 3 years earlier before the layoff. A super fight against Volk was no longer an option. Henry spent years attempting to create buzz for that bout, but now that he's lost to Aljo, it appears to be gone.
I'm out here to make history, and if I can't make history, I'm not doing this shit.
They have a problem with Merab in that he can't fight for the title. Maybe you could go take care of that problem for them. You beat his teammate, you get a rematch right away.
Hey, I love the storylines you guys are giving me. Okay.
Sterling's training partner, Merab Dvalishvili, was a top contender in the same division, but the two refused to face each other. Cejudo assumed that because his bout with Aljo was competitive, if he were to defeat Merab convincingly, he'd receive another title shot. Henry needed the bantamweight belt as leverage to negotiate for a crack at the featherweight strap. Some may ask, why didn't Cejudo simply move up to 145 and abandon 135 if featherweight gold was his main mission? It's because the route to the 145-pound title would be much quicker if he were to win the belt at 135 first. Knowing there's a chance to jump the line in hopes for a super fight rather than climbing the featherweight rankings as a contender. Henry knows that he's getting older and that 145ers are much larger, so it's the easiest path.
You said earlier it was all or nothing this fight. Does that mean if it ends up being nothing that's going to be a retirement after this fight?
Yeah. 100%. I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for this, but the goal's still 145 pounds. Yeah, I lost my last fight through split decision. I'm not wavering from the goal of going up. So I just feel like, win over Merab and then get the win out of Cheeto and Sean. And then I want Volk, whoever has about 145 pounds. I feel like I've earned it. I feel like with my accolades and the merit that I've been able to do in combat sports, I don't think you could deny me.
You'll never be half man your mama was.
Merab beat Henry by unanimous decision. Not only did Cejudo lose, but he was out-wrestled for the second time in a row. Additionally, it was reported that Henry earned less money than Mackenzie Dern. When Triple C was champion, he earned more money in each of his title fights but walked away feeling undervalued. Now he makes less money than he used to, proving that he fumbled the bag.
I would have loved for Uncle Dana to maybe give me a bump on my raise after defending both my belts, but it is what it is.
Very few fighters are capable of strong-arming the UFC, and Henry was not among them. You either have to be the sport's biggest star or the greatest of all time, or be extremely fortunate due to unique circumstances, such as bout offers from elite boxers combined with a naive dipshit who will overpay a non-pay-per-view star in effort to save his sinking ship. How did that work out for him, by the way? Henry said that it's all or nothing, but did he mean it?
I am not f***ing leaving. Was it all or nothing for me? Yeah, and I meant it. Or did I? Have I truly been a hypocrite?
Egos fade quickly once you have a family to feed.
Henry, you got nothing to prove in combat sports, right? I mean, everything that you've accomplished, you can walk away and nobody can ever question anything about your legacy. So why put yourself through all this and jump back into it?
It's called kids.
Told you.
Henry's next bout would be a fight night main event. Who was his opponent? Sean O'Malley? Peter Yan? Corey Sandhagen? None of the above. It was Song Yadong, a top 10 bantamweight, but not the big name Cejudo was hoping for.
Song Yadong, that's the opponent, right? When they gave you that name, did you say, I don't know, or were you all in right away?
I wanted Jan and Aldo, somebody that could get me to the bout a little bit quicker, but me and Hunter Campbell got into a heated exchange, and he told me what he felt. I told him what I felt. At the end of the day,
You'll do what you're told.
This is a far cry from the guy who said,
I'm out to chase greatness. I'm just not out here just to fight.
You sure about that?
Henry still wants to get back what he once gave away, but also believes there's a desire to see him fight Merab again. There's not.
You've won the Olympic gold. You've been a 2-division champion. You've done it all. So at this stage in your career, like, is it still the title? Is that still the ultimate goal?
That's what it's always about. If it wasn't about that, for sure I wouldn't be fighting. This is the last run. I'm making this last push, man, this last hurrah. The last time, John, that I've lost 2 in a row, I went on one of the biggest rampages in UFC history, taking out Demetrius, TJ, Cruz, Marias, the whole 9.
Would you like to be the one to retire Henry Cejudo? Is this what you are hoping for?
I believe I will make him retired of this one.
You're going to beat him up so bad?
Yes.
Good. Do you have a nickname for Henry Cejudo?
Big hat.
Big head?
Big hat.
Since his return, Henry has had a bad habit at looking past his opponents, claiming Aljo was a tune-up fight for Volk, saying Merab was a rebound to get back to the title. Now he's treating Song as a springboard to get back to Merab.
Is there any small part of you that kind of roots for Merab to hold on to that title until you get back there, because it would mean more to beat him to become champion than anybody else?
Hell yeah. The best is winning, but even better than winning is getting payback, like revenge.
The UFC isn't interested in putting a 38-year-old Cejudo back into the title mix, especially when he's already lost against the current champ. Does anyone believe that an older Cejudo would fare better against Merab in a 5-rounder? The Song fight happens and...
What a cluster.
It was an awesome fight while it lasted, both slugging it out and trading leg kicks while Song was stuffing all of Cejudo's takedown attempts, but it ended with one of the most controversial eye pokes in UFC history.
I'm blind!
Everything about the situation was strange. Henry's demeanor was oddly upbeat during his recovery time, smiling at the crowd with both eyes wide open. When a severe eye poke occurs that may result in a corneal abrasion, there's a reflex that makes it nearly impossible to keep the eye open due to a high concentration of nerve endings. There was also this bizarre wobble Cejudo did right after the poke, leading people to assume that he overplayed the foul, which is ironic since he gave Aljo crap about his situation. The eye poke definitely happened, but skeptics questioned the severity of it. The fight was competitive, but Song was clearly winning, so many speculated that Henry was playing the game hoping for a no contest or even a point deduction, both fairly reasonable. It also appeared that while Henry was talking to his corner, he was making sure that what he said was loud and clear for everyone else listening.
I can't f***ing see you, man. Oh my goodness, that is not good to say. I can't f***ing see, man.
Fighters know that saying "I can't see" is a death sentence. Your fight will absolutely be stopped. It's difficult to reward someone for ending the fight by an eye poke, but many fans were fine with it based on how the fight was playing out and witnessing Cejudo huffing and puffing in between rounds. For what it's worth, Big John McCarthy agreed with Herzog's decision. He's not just the man who established what it meant to be an MMA ref. He also helped create the unified rules for the sport.
The reason Jason Herzog was saying we got to start this round is once he enters the 4th round, now he can go to what is a technical decision. He can go to the scorecards. And since he had 3 rounds completed, that was the right call for him to do. If the eye poke had happened in the 2nd round, then it would have probably ended up as a no contest. Jason did a great job of controlling everything in there that would have been chaos for a lot of officials. He did the right thing. Doesn't matter if you like it or not. I would have done it exactly the same way Jason did it.
After an anticlimactic ending, both competitors pushed for a rematch, but Dana shot it down.
Just getting back to the main event, obviously Henry and Song seem like they want to have the rematch. Is that kind of what you're thinking, that they should run that one back? Or?
Not at all.
I agree that a rematch is unnecessary. We saw how the fight was going, and that doesn't mean that Cejudo couldn't have possibly won, but what's done is done. Regardless of the controversy, the sport moves on. Song and the UFC gain nothing from a rematch. If you're Dana, why cater to the 38-year-old who gave up his title trying to strong-arm you for a raise? Is it fair? That's for you to decide. I'll also ask if Henry's incredible ability to take a punch solely based on him having a colossal head is fair. Perhaps Cejudo will provide more updates about his eye. However, I've been secretly working on this video for a while now and wanted to release it sooner, but delayed it once the Song fight was announced. So I'm striking while the iron's hot.
Song ain't that long.
But his fingers sure are. Truth be told, I really enjoyed Henry's MMA career. It's not like his performances didn't deliver during his rise. The cringe gimmick was corny, but it made you care. The man has a lot of heart and is a skilled fighter. The fact that he left when he did was truly unfortunate. Most were aware that it was a mistake at the time. He wanted a chance to fight Volk and earn more money, but ended up earning less than he did as champion and was unable to reclaim his previous title from Aljo. He didn't comprehend that in spite of his accomplishments, he simply wasn't valuable enough to bargain with the UFC. It was one of the most mismanaged MMA careers I've ever seen. He shouldn't have left when he was champ, but once he walked away, he shouldn't have returned. He never became C4, but he's still a legend in 2 sports. For all we know, his career isn't over yet. The older you get, the harder it is to cut weight, but maybe he can manage to make 125 again, assuming the size of his head doesn't prevent him. Either way, the man is a winner in life. He may have struck out with Nikki Bella, but once he ascended to a full-time creeper, he snagged a good one. Thankfully, she's not afraid of a knife, otherwise Henry's approach would have been a major turnoff. Hell, it took several months before he removed the tape from her mouth, allowing her to speak. Luckily, she stuck around. The one thing that Henry wanted more in life than gold was to make his mother proud. Not only for raising him, but also because his massive cranium kept her from walking normally for an entire year following his birth. Cejudo's gigantic skull wasn't only a sniper's wet dream that caused helmet laws to be reevaluated. He also came from a place where kids tried to play soccer with his head on a daily basis. Failure was not an option. Did I mention how big his head is?
I know he's got a big head, but he also has a big head.
You should have been a horse jockey with that big ass head.
Big hat.
Big head.
127 hours is actually the time it takes for Henry to get a haircut.
He ain't lying.
The only thing that annoys Cejudo more than pointing out his humongous head are his stretched out shirt collars. Thank God for every other fighter that headbutts are illegal. Henry would be undefeated.